Hi, welcome to my channel where I talk all about homeschooling. I've been homeschooling my daughter for 3 years, and I have lots to share with you about homeschooling if you're new or if you've been doing it for quite a while. So if you could click like and subscribe down below if this kind of content sounds like something in which you'd be interested, I'd really appreciate it. My tip for today about homeschooling is if you're brand new to homeschooling, we do not homeschool all day. We do not school all day. I know that it can be overwhelming to think that, okay, I'm going to have my kids home with me all day long, and I'm going to have to somehow educate them and entertain them for 7 hours. I have friends whose kids are in public school. Depending on the county, counties are all structured differently because they have to tailor their time to their bus schedule. So some of my friends live in really rural counties where the schools are consolidated in K through 12. And so the buses, can pick up K through 12 in one go around. So schooling is from say 8 to 3. Okay, so that's 7 hours the kids are at school there. Other counties, the schools are divided up into elementary, middle or junior high, and high school. And so with a staggered busing schedule, some of those kids, for example, could be in school from say 8 to 2. So that's 6 hours. Regardless, that is not how long it takes to homeschool at home. There are so many factors that go into a long school day in a public or private school, and you will just not experience those at home with your children. You have to factor in time, right, for homeroom or announcements, taking attendance, discipline, walking back and forth to lockers, or walking to the lunchroom with your class, or PE, going to all your different extracurriculars. Again, just form a line and who's going to be the line leader, and you do those kinds of things, or other formal things, lining up to go to the library together and checking out books. Those are all things that just happen when you have a large class of kids and you're going from space to space for their activities. And that's just not something that happens at home. So please don't get overwhelmed thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this for 6 or 7 hours every day with my multiple children? And that's just not feasible. That's just not what happens at home. You're going to have mealtime, right? You're going to have bathroom breaks, but you don't have to take attendance. you don't you don't have to walk from place to place across campus. That just doesn't happen. You do have disciplined time, right? That's just life. That's going to happen. You're going to have accidents that happen. You're going to have illness. There's always going to be some kind of interruption, right, to your day, but it's never going to take 6 or 7 hours. A lot of kids, when they start out with homeschooling, let's say you're starting in elementary age, the core basics, right, is going to be maybe your faith beliefs. You're going to build in time for that. Language arts across the board, right? So spelling and writing and grammar and reading, those kinds of things, that's core. And then also math. And anything else on top of that is just extra at that young age. You are going to naturally, through life, learn about science. You're going to put a hummingbird feeder out. You're going to learn about the weather based on the weather outside at your home. You're going to learn about history by reading books at the library or just talking with your kids. Like, they're going to learn that kind of stuff, right? But the formal core stuff, that is never going to take 6 or 7 hours. I think the longest school day that we've done before, so let's say we've done 2 language arts lessons and 2 math lessons, and then we've done our unit study on top of that, which has been this year a real focus on the ocean and the oceans. So learning about the oceans and then ocean animals. And then we've rotated between more animal focused things. My daughter loves animals. Those things, so 2 language arts, math, and a unit study, have never taken longer than 2 hours. And then if we've done Bible study at some time or another, that's in the day too, but 2 hours. And then, we go to the library, we go to the bank, we go to parks, we go to the museum, we go to the zoo, we see friends. We're just doing lots of fun things. She's always doing art in the house, coloring and drawing and painting. And, That's still nowhere close to 6 or 7 hours of formal sit down, going through book after book after book. So, my tip to you about the school day is you do not have to emulate it at home. There's really no sense. There's no sense of it. You don't have 30 children in your home that you're educating. And I mean, again, the things that occur in a large classroom is just because of the sheer scope, right? And I just encourage you to remember it's your home. It's your home. It's going to look how you would like it to look. Your school day is going to look how you want it to look. And to not beat yourself up and not feel like you're failing and not feel like you are inadequate and ill-equipped to teach your kids because you cannot do a 6 or 7 hour day or even 4 hour day. I mean, honest to goodness, if you are homeschooling a high school student, 4 hours is probably the most. My high school experience was 7 periods of class at a time, one of which was an extra uncredited hour. So I was either, able to take a study hall, or I could volunteer in the library or helping somebody else at school for volunteer hours towards scholarship. So I had 6 credit hours going at a time, and they were 50-minute classes. And I was in school 7:30 to 2:30. But I had a half an hour in there for lunch. I had time going back and forth to my locker. I had to have time during PE, for example, to get changed and line up and take attendance and line up and take attendance and take attendance and take attendance, discipline, homeroom, announcements, passing back papers, correcting the paper of my neighbor and then passing it back and then going back over it. Again, it's just the scope of the situation. So when you get to middle school, high school, your day is going to be longer. Your children, especially high school, right, you are doing classwork that is for credit to get into college. So you do have a little bit more, but you're also getting to go at your own pace. A child can finish a lot more in 4 hours at home at their own pace than they can at school because there's none of the distractions. Hopefully the things they're learning at home, right, are things of their interest. Science is a huge scope, right? So if you have to have science credits in high school, your child might be very much into physics, and you can tailor that, right, to their interests, which just doesn't happen in other school settings. So they are doing things that are interesting to them, and if they aren't, well, that's also part of life. We all have to do things that aren't just interesting all the time, but they can get a lot more done in 4 hours than they can in a large school. So 4 hours, honestly, in high school, that might be the case. But now at the younger grades, because again, you just don't have all those examples of having to use time to just manage a larger number of children. So I know you're doing your best. I hope that you know that. I hope you know that. I hope you feel that you are doing the best thing for your family. And the best thing for your family does not mean beating yourself up if you cannot emulate the school day of 6 to 7 hours. And let's not even count the time spent on the bus, which could be an hour each way. Okay, so 9 hours, right? So it's just not going to look like that for you. It's going to be beautiful, and you're going to find your groove, and it's going to be awesome for your family because you're in charge and you're listening to the rhythm of your family and figuring out what works best for you all. So I'm going to have some more videos on homeschool tips and things like that because that's how I've really benefited from hearing other moms and other dads about homeschooling things in their family. So I hope to do the same for you. So I know you're doing your best. Again, you can click like and subscribe down below. I hope to see you again soon. God bless.